This series of diaries is helpful and helps me stay hopeful, navigating lots of debt in my divorce. Can you share a little bit more of the MSA part? Yes, I can help you a little bit with the MSA part without going into too many nitty-gritty details of mine. As far as debt goes, there really was not a ton of like credit card debt between the two of us. I think between the two of us, like he had 10 grand, I might have had 10 grand. Like that was a very even split. So we separated that out and was like, you handle your debt, I'll handle my debt. One of the bigger debts that I had that affected probably a little bit of the settlement was my car. So I had recently purchased a car a year prior. It was a $60,000 car. I traded in a car, so there was about $50,000 a year ago to that. You know, by the time it all was said and done, during my divorce process, I think I owed like $40,000 still on the car. Anyways, that was a huge like, you know, determinant of like how much money I got from the money that I found out he was hiding versus like the equity in the home, et cetera, et cetera. So like you're gonna have to like trade some things off to kind of balance you out. Now, I pay child support and I will start paying child support in November of this year. However, I currently do not have to pay it because I paid the entire balance of our joint tax payments for 2023. He was supposed to contribute 50%. He did not. I brought that to the table. Instead of him having to write me a check for whatever that amount was, we just offset child support. We offset child support for the amount of time that would have been his 50% of that tax obligation. Let's see, what other debts did we have? So like I said, we had the house. I let him have the house. I just said I wanted my equity. So I got 50% of the equity that was earned in the home. However, he did get to keep the home. The home was great. He's got a great interest rate. I'm happy for him. He's got it. I am in my own home. We're fine. Other big things to note, I got to retain full control of both of my businesses. What else? I feel like that was like the other really big one. But that's kind of, I mean, that was pretty much like the thick of it. We separated everything out. No alimony, just child support. Child support $370 a month, like I said, starting in November. Potentially, we'll see about that. But other than that, like, it was very even keel. He's responsible for our child's health insurance, which I think is very important because he still has military benefits, which I think is super important. Logan will get the best medical, like for the cost, aka like almost $0. Whereas like I just don't have health insurance right now. I have catastrophic care, which is fine. You know, honestly, I really haven't been sick or like had like life altering events happen. Knock on wood. But knock on wood, but that was a pretty big one. So I hope that this helps. I know it's probably not as detailed as you want, but like what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to kind of give and take, right? If you want equity in the home and you want him to pay your car, you're going to have to probably like take it from somebody else. So that way it's very much a true 50-50. If you have a lot of credit card debt, how are you guys going to divide out that debt? Who is going to be responsible for the debt? Now, if the person who gets to keep the house, does that offset the debt? Does that offset the equity of the home that the other party would receive if the other person gets, you know what I mean? Like it's going to be a give take. So be flexible, be willing to come to the table with multiple ideas. I will say that in our mediation lasted, I want to say 10 hours. Okay. The initial deal that me and my lawyer, we put on the table at 10 a.m. The initial deal is actually the deal that he agreed to. I know it's infuriating because it ended up being like a $1,800 day paying the mediator when the initial deal that I put on the table at 10 a.m. was a deal that he actually agreed on after a huge roundabout discussion of going back and forth. And then we just agreed to the original plan. So just also be prepared for that. You are going to have to pay for your mediator. You're going to have to pay for your lawyer's time at that day. If you guys are agreeable and you guys are amenable, come to mediation with a plan and a strategy. with this is what we want, this is how we're going to do it, you know, and then let the mediator kind of like iron out the details, and then have it be done in like 2 hours. Don't drag it out 10 plus hours like what happened to me, because that was a very expensive day that did not have to be very expensive. So that's another piece of advice that I can give. Like I said, I hope this helps. If you have other direct questions that I can help answer, I would love to do that for you. So just let me know, drop them in the comments. Thanks.